Good morning, student. We are starting a new chapter of civics, that is judiciary. Student, in the previous chapter, understanding law, you have studied a term, rule of law, which means that law applies equally to all person and certain set of fixed procedure need to follow when the law is violated. Judiciary plays an crucial, crucial role in functioning of Indian democracy, and it is possible for it because it is independent. So in this chapter we are going to study that how the judiciary is independent, what is the meaning of independent judiciary, different level of the judiciary, and different connection between the different level of the judiciary, etc. These are the things we are going to cover in this chapter. So continuing to the chapter, first of all we need to understand the role of judiciary, children. The role of judiciary is dispute resolution, judicial review, upholding the law and enforcing the fundamental right. So for dispute resolution, under dispute resolution, the work of the judiciary is, children, to resolve all kind of the disputes, whether it is between two citizens, whether it is between citizen and government, whether it is between two state government and between the center and the state government. For example, if you will take in class 6, you have studied the dispute between the state is Bangalore and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka and Tamil Nadu was fighting for the water of the river Kaveri, and it was being settled by the interference of the central government. Similarly, when two people, or you can say there are the dispute between the two communities, you can say there are the dispute between the citizens, so the court, or you can say judiciary, interfere in it and try to resolve it. Sometimes the citizen feel like by making of any kind of the law by the government, sometimes citizens feel like that their fundamental rights are being violated. So they can go to the court, or somehow citizens are not satisfied with the work of the government. So at that time they can go to the court to settle out all that matter. Second role is judicial review, which means the final interpretation of the constitution. The judicial also has the power to strike down the particular law passed by the parliament if it believes that these are violating the basic structure of the constitution. This is called judicial review, and you have seen several examples, children. It means if you hear the news, you have heard that Kisan bill was being introduced, but by, you can say, the protest of the farmers, after the protest of the farmer, the government was forced to take it down. And sometime it was only the bill, but sometime when the law is also being made by the parliament and people are not okay with it. Like अगर आप traffic rules में ले लें कि कुछ सालों पहले जो है traffic rule के लिए it was being said that wearing helmet is very important, and not for the person who is driving, the person who is sitting at the back of the driver on the two-wheeler. It was important, and for forcing that law, the government imposed so many, you can say, penalty if a person would not find the person would not find to be followed that rule. The people was not okay with it. उन्हें ये लगता था कि थोड़ी सी भी चीज़ के लिए जो थोड़ा रूल ब्रेक करने पे जो पेनल्टी उनसे चार्ज की जा रही थी, it was high. So the government was forced to take it back. Now, upholding the law and enforcing the fundamental, if we'll talk about, children, so every citizen of the India can approach to the Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that the fundamental right have been violated. In class 7th, you have studied the story of Hakim Sheikh, who was an agricultural laborer who fell from the running train and injured himself, and whose condition got worse because several hospitals refused to admit him. On hearing his case, the Supreme Court ruled that the Article 21, which provides every citizen the right of the fundamental, the right to life, also includes the right to health. and therefore directed the West Bengal government to pay the compensation for the loss of these suffered, as well as to come up with the blueprint of the primary health, you can say, care with the particular reference treatment of the patient during an emergency. Actually, children, I have already told you from the beginning of the, you can say, session when we were studying the civics, that under right to life, the person is having the right to get all those basic amenities which are required to live a life, to live a healthy life. If a person is not well, so he is having a right to have a health facilitation by the government. Clean drinking water should be provided by the government, and many other things, like people is having a right to earn the livelihood in the, you can say, legal manner. They can continue with it. तो राइट टू लाइफ का मतलब सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि जीने देने का अधिकार, जीने के लिए जो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं उनको पूरा करना, इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, and that is the responsibility of the government, and that is why the government is running so many you can say government hospitals. They are not running it as a charity. It is their primary duty to run it, and with our taxes only they are running it, right? So these type of the matters, like you have seen the example of Hakim Sheikh, can be resolved under, you can say, the role of the government upholding the law and enforcing the fundamental right. Now children, we are on the topic independent judiciary. So here is a situation for you in which a powerful situation is having the authority to appoint a judge, right? A judge is being appointed by him, and there is a member, or you can say there is a person whose land is being encroached, and that person is belonging to your family. So what will our next step? We'll go to the court. But by coincidence, the judge which we see in the court is being appointed by that powerful politician who has encroached the land. So what will happen in that situation? Definitely the judge is going to be partial for the politician, because he is having a threat, or you can say he is having a fear of losing his job if the politician get annoyed. So avoid such type of situation. What is the provision we are having in our constitution? So children, in chapter 1 you have studied that we are having the three organs of the government, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature used to frame the laws, executive, you can say they enforce the law, and judiciary takes a review that laws are being implemented properly in the country. The people are satisfied with those laws. So these are being looked after by the judiciary. But the main important thing is that, children, that legislature and executive cannot interfere in the working of the judiciary. Judiciary is totally independent. The court are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. And this is possible, children, because of the separation of power. It is also a crucial that all the judges in the High Court as well as in the Supreme Court are appointed with a very little interference from these other branches like legislature and executive. And once a judge is being appointed, it is difficult to remove that judge. And that is why you can say the judiciary is independent and it can take all the decision independently. So sometime you have seen, for example, if you will say like a few months before, or you can say in every beginning of the winters in November during the time of Diwali, the Delhi government used to get scolded by the Supreme Court for the pollution which you can say spread at the time in Delhi. अक्सर होता है कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट को डांट पड़ी कि जो है पोल्यूशन के लिए कोई मेजर्स क्यों नहीं लिए जा रहे हैं, कोई प्रॉपर क्योर क्यों नहीं किए जा रहे हैं. So these type you can say this is only the reason the Supreme Court can even raise the question, or you can say scold, or you can say they can ask the reason from the government. Otherwise government तो tyrant हो जाती. In very first of the chapter you have studied to check the power of the government, to control the government, to control the work of the government. Judiciary, independent judiciary is very important. That is why I said to you in the beginning of the chapter that for the Indian democracy, judiciary, independent judiciary is very important, and independent judiciary is playing an important role. It is, you can say, the independence of the judiciary that allows that the court to play an central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of the power by the legislature and executive. It also plays a crucial role in protecting the fundamental right of the citizen, because anyone can approach the court if they believe that their rights have been violated. Acha children, now I want to tell you about how the judges are being appointed. So the judges are not being appointed by any type of political figure or any type of political party. The judges are being appointed by the committee which is in that particular court, and it is being approved by, you can say, finally the approval have been given by the president. So that is why I was telling you that there is no interference. Yeah, you can say very less of the line has given in your book that with a very little interference from these other branches of the government. It means legislature and executive are not involved in it. And one more information is that in Supreme Court we are having the Chief Justice. So the current Chief Justice is Dhananjay Y. Chandrachud, and along with him there are 30 more judges in Supreme Court. So now we are on the topic, children, the structure of the court. There are the three different levels of the court in our country. There are the several courts at the lower level, while there is only one apex level. Okay, now children, there is a diagram given in your book which you have to fill of your own. You can see a pyramid shape is given over here, which is broader at its base, which shows that the court which are more in number should be filled over here. So here you can fill the lower level, because lower level is it means under lower level you can say all the court which we find in the district comes under the lower level of the court. So district courts are more in number in whole of the country. As you can see, if you take the example of the Uttar Pradesh, so we are having the several districts. So the number of the court which we find in the district, as many districts we are having, as many court we are having. So definitely altogether if we count the district level of the court in the country, so we are having more in numbers, right? So first of all we will write lower court, then on the second level we will write high court, because they are 25 in numbers. Children, you will get surprised that, or you are thinking about that we are having 28 state, but ma'am is telling about 25 high court we are having, right? So I am not telling you wrong, but I'll give the region to you further. Now at the apex level means at the supreme level we are having the Supreme Court, which is one court, and that is in New Delhi, right? The court that most people interacted with are known as district court. These are usually at the district or the tehsil level or in the town, right? And many cases are here over it. Each state is divided into several districts that are presided over the district judges. Each state is having the high court, which is the highest court of the state. This statement can be defined to you by giving an example of Uttar Pradesh. Like children, we are having one high court in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, don't get it means confused. You are saying that you are thinking about what ma'am is telling. We are having one court which is in Allahabad, and the new name of Allahabad is Prayagraj. Its bench is in Lucknow, which we find in Lucknow. Its bench. So बेसिकली हमारी जो हाई कोर्ट है वो एक है, विच इज़ इन प्रयागराज, इलाहाबाद. उसकी बेंच वी फाइंड इन लखनऊ. सो बेसिकली वी आर हैविंग वन हाई कोर्ट इन लखनऊ, राइट, फॉर द स्टेट. एंड सेवरल डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट्स, because our state is divided into several districts na, so several district courts we are having in Uttar Pradesh with one high court. And they all the district court or the lower court are binding by the decision of the high court. Binding by the decision of the high court, it means once a decision being given on any particular matter by the high court, so all the lower court, it means like district courts, should follow it. Similarly, if any decision is being done by the Supreme Court, so they are not questionable, they must be followed by the other lower court like high court and the district courts. We will study this in the detail. The discussion made by the Supreme Court are binding on all the courts in India, children. Here you can see the picture, and at the side of the picture, go through to your book. At the side of the picture you can see the High Court were first established in presidency cities of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras in 1862. The High Court of the Delhi came up in 1966. Currently there are 24 courts, while many states have their own high court. Punjab and Haryana share a common high court at Chandigarh. As you know, they are sharing their capital, so similarly they are sharing the high court also. 4 northeastern states of Assam, Nagaland and Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh have a common high court at Guwahati. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have a common high court in Hyderabad, as before they were sharing the capital also, but now the capital have been changed. You have to find, this is your homework, that you have to find that the new capital for the, it means Hyderabad and Telangana. So Andhra Pradesh is the capital. What is the capital of Andhra Pradesh and what is the capital of Telangana? You have to find it separately, okay? Some high court have the benches in other part of the state for the greater accessibility. Now children, I was telling to you that the different level of the court connected with each other, it means that we have an integrated judicial system, that meaning that decision made by the higher court are binding on the lower court. You can understand this by the appellate system, children. Like suppose if I have filed any case in the lower level, it means district court. District court has given the judgment, but I am not satisfied with that judgment, so I can go to the high court with the same case, right? Then again the procedure of hearing and all will go on, and judgment being given by the high court. Again, if I am not satisfied, I can go to the Supreme Court. This is the appellate system. Like पहले first से appeal किया, it means district court पे हमने अपना matter डाला या अपना आप कह सकते हैं problem डाली, but the decision which the district court has given was not it means satisfactory, so the person can apply to the high court. And if again the person is not satisfied with the, you can say कि अब उनको लगता है कि हमारे पास evidence बहुत थे, हमारे पास सारी चीज़ें होने के बावजूद भी the decision was not in our favor, and again if it will be referred, so the decision can be in our favor, so the person can appeal to the Supreme Court. So appealing, appellate means they can appeal again and again, but you have to consider the point that once High Court has given the decision, so lower court had to follow it. Again, the person cannot go to the lower court. And once the decision being given by the Supreme Court, so that same case will not be tried in any other court. For this, an example is given in your book, a story is there, that in February 1980, Lakshmi Kumar married 20-year-old Sudha Goel, and they lived in a flat in Delhi with the Lakshmi brother and their families. On 2nd of December 1980, Sudha died in the hospital due to the burn. Her family filed a case in the court. When this case was heard in trial court, 4 of the neighbors were called in the witness. They said that the night of the December 1st, they heard Sudha scream and had forced their way in the Lakshmi flat. There they saw Sudha standing with her sari in the flame. They extinguished the fire by wrapping the Sudha in guni bag and blanket. Sudha told that her mother-in-law, Shakuntala, had poured kerosene oil on her, that her husband Lakshman had lit the fire. During the trial, member of the Sudha's family and neighbor stated that the Sudha had been subjected to the torture of her in-laws, that they were demanding for more cash, a scooter, fridge, the birth of the on the birth of the child. As a part of their defense, Lakshman and his mother stated that Sudha Sari has accidentally caught fire while she was heating milk. On the basis of other evidences, the trial court convicted Lakshman, his mother Shakuntala, and his brother-in-law Subhash Chandra, and sentenced all three of them to the death in November 1830. Now, here they have got the punishment. It means they were sentenced to the death. These are the things to remind. But they were not satisfied. Who were not satisfied? The Sudha's in-laws. The Sudha's in-laws families were not satisfied with the decision. So they appealed it again in 1983. Right? The three accused went to the High Court to appeal against the verdict of the trial court. The High Court, after hearing the argument of all the lawyers, decided that Sudha had died due to the accident, fire caused by the kerosene stove, and Lakshman, Shakuntala and Subhash Chandra was acquitted. And this was the time, children, Lakshman and his family was able to manage the evidences, or you can say evidences unhone change kar diye, या somehow they have created some false evidences, due to which the High Court was not able to give the proper decision. So they was acquitted. Acquitted means, children, कि उनको कोर्ट ने फ्री कर दिया. But now this time the Sudha's family was also not satisfied. So they went to the Supreme Court, and in 1985 the Supreme Court heard this appeal against the acquittal of the Lakshman and two members of his family. The Supreme Court had heard argument of the lawyer and reached a decision that was different from that given by the High Court. They found Lakshman and his mother guilty, but acquitted his brother-in-law Subhash because they did not have enough evidence against him. The Supreme Court decided to send the accused to the prison for the life. Now, children, rest of the chapter will be covered in next video. Till to the time, keep on reading your book. Every section of your book is important. Go through to all the boxes. The content given below, side, above, or you can say below the picture is very important. So keep on reading it and try to solve the NCERT question.